Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. This is Market Today. I'm Sakshi Batra. With me is Shell Bhatnagar. Well, the stock markets welcomed the new year on a positive note and definitely closed nearly half odd percent higher on 1st of January 2025. And today, that's Thursday, will be the first weekly expiry for the Nifty 50 in the new year as well. Of course, apart from this, we'll continue to watch out for companies which will be reporting their quarterly business updates. The auto space will be in focus as far as the numbers have come in thus far. In December, we've seen that the total domestic sales have risen by 1% and the total CV sales, however, are down by 1% on a year-on-year basis. The passenger vehicle sales, including the electric vehicles, has seen an uptick of just 1% odd, with some of them doing better than the others in the December month as far as the sales are concerned. Of course, today we won't have many cues as far as the US is concerned, since the US markets were shut on account of the New Year's Day yesterday. But most of the Asian markets which have opened today are opening on a muted note. So we'll see how it really pans out in trade today. There were several pockets that were shining bright yesterday. We'll see whether they continue to move in trade today as well. Good morning to all our viewers and good morning, Shell.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We start the second day of 2025 on a very somber but a positive note. Yesterday, which is the first day, you saw a bit of a fright in the market, but the Nifty managed to close above 23,700 despite the FI selling. So, ladies and gentlemen, there are two opposing threads that are running in the market, and they are as follows. One, there is relentless selling pressure in the cash market from the FII side, and that shows no signs of abating. Yesterday, the number was upwards of 1700 crores, given the fact that it was a very thin volume day. Now, FIIs will return in very good measure from today onwards, because this is when the start happens for 2025. Yesterday, of course, was a holiday, as Sakshi mentioned. Now, there are chances that this selling number will increase, given the fact that we have tepid auto sales numbers coming in on 1st of Jan. Now, here is the opposing thought. No matter what happens to the market in terms of heavy FII selling, the index, especially the Nifty, refuses to go below 200-day DMA substantially. So there is a building of base that is happening on the Nifty and the Bank Nifty around the 200-day moving average. And more importantly, there are many indices that have shown signs of bottoming out. In particular, the Nifty FMCG index, if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, somewhere 3 months ago, it was Hindustan Unilever and Nestle that had started the fright in the market, saying that middle classes' income have contracted and they see little or no scope of volume growth. So those indices seem to have bottomed out. There is hope that 200-day DMA will hold. Today is the FNO expiry for the first one in 2025. Let us see how this volatile day passes. But the fact is that given the run-up that we are now seeing in a lot of cash counters ahead of the budget, which is the likes of railway stocks, whether they are wagon makers, whether they are government PSUs, fertilizer stocks, as also some other PSUs, you see signs of base getting built on the Nifty, and those are positive given the fact that third quarter earnings are upon us. Two updates have come in from the business side, one by South Indian Bank and the other by CSB Bank, that's Cathedral Syrian Bank. Both of them are positive. So let's hope and be positive for the markets as far as January is concerned, and of course we have the run up to the budget. Therefore, we continue to watch stocks from the railway space, whether it's IRFC, IRCTC, RVNL, RITES, and so on and so forth. And of course, the theme of a weak rupee continues. Just look at the Nifty Pharma index. It's just 400 points away from its all-time high. And there is no doubt in my mind, given the weak rupee and its continued weakness, you will see export-oriented pharma companies now on the index level also hitting a high. Many of them have already peaked out, such as Lupin, such as Ipca, such as Glenmark, Aurobindo Pharma, all of them in the vicinity of their all-time highs. So keep these three broad themes in mind. The index so far has refused to bow down to selling pressure. from foreign institutional investors. Two, those indices that were beaten down sharply have seen signs of exhaustion and base building, in particular the Nifty FMCG index, and more importantly, the budget run up and third quarter earnings. These are the broad themes that are underlying this defiance by the Nifty in particular as far as FII selling is concerned. Sakshi, Qs were flat from overseas markets, but what are the other asset classes telling you?
Well, absolutely, Shell. As far as the FPIs are concerned, remember 12th straight session is what we have seen for them selling off in the Indian stock market, 1782 odd crore rupees worth of stocks. The DI has bought worth about 1690 odd crore rupees in trade as of yesterday. We have seen that the GIFT Nifty trends are now indicating to a muted start after Asian markets, especially Nikkei and Kospi, are indicating a negative opening for the Indian markets right there. So we'll see how that one happens. Of course, apart from that, we'll keep an eye out on all the stocks that will be in focus. NMDC is in focus. The company's reported total iron ore sales at 3.9 million tons in December. That's down 6.7% on a year-on-year basis. Tata Motors will be in focus on account of the sales that have come in. The CV sales dipped by 1%, while the total domestic sales were up 1%, and the passenger vehicle sales was also up by about 1%. Now, as far as some of the other names are concerned in the auto space, Maruti will also be in focus. Again, here the company's total production volume rose by about 30% to 1.57 lakhs. Passenger car production volume was up 21%. The total passenger vehicle production volume rose by about 30 odd percent. Of course, the domestic sales increased by about 30%. So that was also in focus. CSB Bank will be in focus. The company's gross advances, they have come out with a business update saying that that's jumped by 26% on a yearly basis in the October to December quarter. They've also reported a 22% growth in deposits, and that's a big positive. Remember, most of the banks have been looking at lower CASA deposits as well as the deposits that are weaning away. So we'll definitely look at it as a positive one. South Indian Bank is in focus. Again, here the gross advances have jumped by 12% yearly basis to 86,965 odd crore rupees in Q3. What we've also seen is they have reported a 6.2% growth in the deposits at over 1 lakh rupees. The CASA ratio, however, fell to 31.16% from 31.80% in the year ago same quarter. Railtel will be in focus. The company has received a work order worth 78 odd crore rupees from Bharat Coking Coal. We'll also keep an eye out on DCX Systems. The company has received export purchase order worth 19.3 crores from its customer Elta Systems. In Swift Labs, we've been marking the company is in focus. It's complete the purchase of land measuring 40 bighas located in Punjab for a total consideration of 17.7 crores. Telecom stocks could be in focus. Telecom operators' gross revenue has increased by 10.5% year on year to 91,426 crores in the quarter. As well as the mobile services tariff has been increased, and that's something that's aiding the sentiment there. On the brokerage houses front, there are several reports that have come in today. So Citi on Maruti has a buy call with a target of 13,500 after it says that it's reported a 24% year-on-year growth in its domestic volumes, excluding of sales, to Toyota, positively surprised by the 29% year-on-year growth in the small car segment as well. Bajaj Auto, they have a sell call. Citi has a sell call there with a target price of 7,800 rupees. It believes the domestic two-wheeler volume has remained weak, which could possibly reflect some inventory clearance, and export and three-wheeler volumes, however, were better. On M&M, Citi has a buy call with a target price of 3,520. They believe the company continues with volume momentum, and this has been visible on most of 2024 domestic UV volume growth that is reflected in incremental volumes of the new models of tractors as well. On Kotak Mahindra Bank, Citi has an upgraded rating to buy now with a target price of 2,070. Remember, this was one of the stocks that really contributed to the gains yesterday in trade as well. So Citi believes that sustained loan growth momentum, personal loan with improved delinquency trends are to gather pace, and the credit cost expectations have already set in higher. They are tweaking the medium-term growth with relatively low beta, lifting the regulatory regulations and restrictions will be the key trigger now for Kotak Mahindra Bank going forward from here. From the IT pack, CLSA has come out with a report on Wipro. It's downgraded the company to hold from outperformance with the target price of 303. This has been downgraded due to the recent stock outperformance, and they expect the company to remain a laggard, flat, constant currency Q-on-Q growth in Q3. In 2024, they have also mentioned that Wipro has seen earnings round rates of 1% odd, and the next leg of re-rating for Wipro can only be achieved if it starts to grow in line with the peers as well. So those are some of the reports that I'm looking at, Shell.
8:49, ladies and gentlemen. With us is Mr. Devan Choksi, MD, DR Choksi Finserv Private Limited. Namaste, Devan bhai. A very warm welcome to you. Happy New Year, and what a pleasure to seek your company at the beginning of January. We've seen a fairly positive start for the Nifty after a terrible second quarter. Strong business cues coming in from CSB Bank and South Indian Bank to begin with. What are your expectations from Dalal Street for January, and is the worst behind us?
And wish you happy 2025 as well. Prayers to God for all happiness, health, and lots of prosperity for all of us. Well, I believe that I think the 2025 is starting with a very promising note in my viewpoint. On one side, we have seen probably the earning growth of the companies remaining slightly in question, I think, in the last quarter, which in my viewpoint, I think is likely to probably show the signs of improvement from this quarter onwards. We will be soon we are soon expecting rather to have the interest rate cut coming in, which will probably percolate down the entire industry spine over the next 6 to 8 quarters. And this particular rate cut phenomena will also begin now, will continue for next 6 to 8 quarters. So maximum amount of improvements will be seen going forward from here. Somewhere in this quarter, I think one should be expecting some positive news coming in as far as Russia-Ukraine war limited withdrawals are concerned. And should that happen, then really optimistic about the possibilities of commodities in particular, largely because the reconstruction activities would start taking place. So overall, I think the 2025 beginning is promising. And fortunately, as far as the market is concerned, market is offering this opportunity at a valuation of Nifty 50 below 20 times price earning ratio. Whenever in past, I think the price earning ratios have remained below 20 times in Nifty 50, the markets have, in subsequent period, have recovered and probably started growing thereafter. So one cannot rule out that possibility as well. So with these possibilities and whatever the negatives of withdrawal of money, etc., including the currency depreciation, is already behind us as far as I understand. So we should be seeing relatively better time going forward in 2025.
Very good morning to you, Devan sir, and we extend the same wishes to you, to your loved ones as well. May this year turn out to be the best one yet for all of you, and may you continue to guide all the viewers of Business Today television by coming more often on the channel and guiding them through with your insights right there. So Devan sir, I want to first understand from you, what is your New Year resolution, and what is it that you're going to be doing differently as an investor than 2024?
Yeah, thank you, Sakshi, for all those sentiments. Well, I guess I think there is nothing much that you can do differently except the fact that you have become more mature over a period of time to select, I think, your investment ideas when the market is offering the ideas at the valuation, corrected valuation. What we could not do in 24, which we would like to do in 25, in 24, probably I think we could not chase the kind of momentum because of the higher valuations. Probably, I think the valuation concern is now getting validated, and we believe that I think if these valuations get corrected, then in 2025 we would like to take this as an advantage or an opportunity coming before us. Because some of the companies which are there in the industry, say for example, the companies which are in the ecosystem of railways, companies which are in the ecosystems of defense, semiconductor business, even data center cloud computing business, I believe that I think the companies which are offering these allied services in this particular vertical, they are the ones I think who have been putting at a phenomenally high valuation. And if 2025 is giving the opportunity to buy those companies at a comparatively lower valuations, then in such situation, I think it would be an opportunity that one would like to exercise. So that is the approach that one would like to take in 25. Second thing, fortunately, many of the large cap companies where we hold extremely positive view because of their ability to produce a larger size of the profit. And after seeing them corrected on the valuation, probably this is the time to build the portfolio from those companies, which we continuously do. Though we hold some of the good quality companies in the portfolio, this is an additional opportunity that we are getting to buy them into the portfolio because of corrected prices. So I think we will be careful in not going and venturing into the expensive valuation, but certainly we would like to remain positive with the companies which are going to make larger profits with a larger base from here on. So opportunity based, I think investing will be continuing as far as this year is concerned.
Okay. Devan bhai, your favorite stock, Reliance Industries, is trading now at a 52-week low. And there are enough drumbeats to say that the IPO of Reliance Jio is in the offing. Somewhere to the tune of 40,000 crore rupees is what the company may raise. This is what media reports are saying, of course unconfirmed. Now tell us your view on RIL and of course Reliance Jio.
Yes, Shail, I think that's a trigger point as I see it. 2025, 26, and 27 are the years in which you are likely to see unlocking of the valuations, which is currently being nurtured under Reliance Industries in Geo platforms, in Reliance Retail, and at some point of time in renewables also. So I think these 2 years are going to be very, very promising years as far as investment outlook is concerned on these companies. We believe that Geo platform is probably the right opportunity to get into the listed market, largely because of the fact that on an annualized revenue top line of about 1,20,000 crore, their annualized EBITDA is about 60,000 crores, and which is growing at a rate of around 20%. So, in my viewpoint, with the large last mile connectivity with mobile and home and fiber connectivity, which is now expanding, along with different applications that they have, be it in the area of agriculture or education or healthcare, e-commerce, media and entertainment, or whichever the other verticals that they have. I believe that I think this network will give them phenomenal amount of power to probably bring the large amount of data traffic as a business onto the platform. So we remain distinctly positive about the prospects of Geo platform per se to begin with, and believe that I think there is a possibility to have a valuation market cap of around 8 to 9 lakh crores once I think it is listed, post listing. So definitely, I think we are seeing a good prospects for investors of Reliance because they would be beneficiary of this particular process of monetization.
Okay, noted that. Apart from the large caps like Reliance Industries, have you spotted any key themes, sir, that or a sector that could be a dark horse in this new year? Or where would your most, biggest conviction lie for the new year?
Yeah, so fortunately, financials are giving us opportunity. We have been continuing to have outlook which is positive on financials. Two, three reasons. On one side, we are having the interest rate scenario which is showing a downward trend globally as well as locally. I think is expected to bring it down. So from that perspective, generally, whenever the interest rate downward trajectory starts, the bull run in the stocks price I think would start happening. So suppose if you assume that next 6 to 8 quarters there would be a downward trajectory of interest rate. In this particular period, we are likely to see the de-rating on the stock in the stock prices of some of the good quality retail finance companies, including the banks. So we believe that I think this is an opportunity, contra by opportunity, despite of market not convinced about a rate cut scenario. We believe that this is the time when the stock prices are available at neglected valuation. On the other side, because of higher amount of available income in the hands of individuals, their spending power has been increasing. and retail lending business of banks and NBFCs have also been increasing simultaneously. So we believe that I think this is another tailwind that one gets in form of seeing the growth momentum continue for the year expansion in the books of the lenders. That's the reason for which we like this particular space. Another space which we like to do for contra buy is the metal commodity. We believe that the reconstruction business after the destruction from the war related areas is expected to happen in this coming quarters. And such situation, I think the neglected valuations or corrected valuations of metal commodity definitely, I think, gives us a good opportunity to buy at a lower point. So I think one could remain little contra as far as this activity is concerned. Stay invested a little longer instead of trading with the momentum in metal commodity.
9 a.m. We have the pre-open with us, a flat 21%, 30 point downtick on the Nifty. Let us see what is troubling the index. Okay. This is not possible that we have a 5 percentage point downtick on HDFC Bank. This will improve for the better. Let's look at the positives. ICICI Bank starts 2% higher, 1308. I want to see what ITC is doing, ladies and gentlemen. You have to keep an eye on this one. Very strong delivery percentages and good volumes ahead of the demerger of its hotel division, which essentially means those who are getting it transferred to their demat will get 1 share of ITC hotels versus 10 that they hold in ITC. Okay, we have Nifty now up 46 points. That's very positive. You have HDFC Bank down just 20 rupees. It's improving by every passing tick. In the green are L&T and SBI. ITC is up 2 rupees 25, 486.60. Hindustan Unilever. Remember I mentioned something about the FMCG index being bottoming out. 26 rupees higher, 23.48 on lever. In the green are Kotak Bank, in the green are Axis Bank. Remember, today is also the weekly expiry of the Nifty, and as I have said, it refuses to bow down to selling pressure. Let us see how it goes, but for the moment, in top shape on the NSE 500 are Indian hotels. 6.8% higher, 933. SRF 3.5% higher, 2288. Apollo Tyres almost 1.5% higher, 535.70. NCC 2% higher, 283. Let's look at the most active counters. Anything that catches my fancy. Vedant 0.5% lower, 442. Apollo Hospitals in the green. GNFC fertilizer space, I have said, will be in top shape. Look at GNFC 2.5% higher, 580. So this is how it is shaping up. Let's hope for a positive move on weekly expiry as well. However, foreign institutional investors have continued to sell Intex contracts and now they are above 2 lakh contracts. Let's get Devan Bhai into the conversation and ask his favorite hotel stock at a time when all of them are buzzing. Devan Bhai, what looks good in this space even now despite sharp rallies?
So 2 large cap and 1 small cap. Large caps are Indian hotels and ITC hotel, of course. The key assumption out here is that average room rate at which they are fetching in the premium category of hotels, they have been actually, I think, fetching relatively higher compared to other peers in the marketplace. At least 15% to 20% premium in some of the cases, and in the leisure hotels, even that rate is higher. So certainly, I think this is one positive. Both these companies have been moving on the asset-light model concept. Indian Hotel is the first one to move in that territory, and ITC is also promising to get into that territory with a asset-light model, where I think they would be taking up the funds more on the management contract basis. Third important point, I think both these companies are also having in next 3 to 5 years time about 50% of rooms which would be, I think, operated out of the asset-light model, which means that the cost of operations, I think, would be probably managed well in every situation. So we like this sustainability factor as well in this business. The one small cap company is Praveg. Praveg is basically, I think, a proxy to the leisure travel in India, spiritual travel and tourism in India, where this company has been setting up the small accommodations and probably allowing these particular businesses to grow in the different territories. At this point of time, Pravik is having about 15 odd locations at which I think they are setting up their hotels. And by the end of the financial year and the next financial year, I think we should be having about 25 locations with more than 1,000 room keys. So from that perspective, this is a small company, but I think looks extremely promising from the investment point of view. We like this entire business largely because we see the wallet of the consumer working in direction of spending money, both the business traveler as well as the leisure traveler. And that's where I think some of these good quality names will have relatively better performance to talk about.
Right. Devin sir, I also wanted to get a sense on the entire IT sector from you. What is your own assessment of how the sector is going to be panning out? There are several triggers. One is the weakening rupee. The other one will be Mr. Donald Trump will be taking office, and that will be the first sector that will be importantly looked at as to how policy changes will impact this one. Earnings will begin just shortly after. And now today we have this CLSA report that has downgraded Wipro just 6 months after giving a double upgrade on the stock as well. So this has led to a lot of confusion among investors as to what should their approach be. How would you approach this space, sir?
I think the analysts are as confused as the entire trend in the industry is. Probably, I think the large cap companies, as they have always maintained, they are going to reinvent themselves. They will have to create the niche presence in the area of providing the platform as a service, as against, I think, the software as the solution that they've been up till now providing. In my viewpoint, I think that's a profound change in the business model. Some of the companies have actually, I think, started training their team and they have started shifting into that. It's not easy because the challenge out there in the Western world, where the larger market is not easy to buy their product and solution at this point of time. We believe that it is mid-tier IT companies which are particularly engaged in the engineering and R&D space. They are relatively better placed. The likes of Tata Technology, the likes of Tata LXC, the companies LTTS, even for that matter KPIT. These are some of the companies where they have niche areas in which they are operating. Their customers are connected with them for next 3 to 5 years, in which they have been executing their orders. And we believe that I think they have a relatively stable margin ground as well, apart from sustaining the business in next foreseeable future. So I think they offer relatively better promise. So they are slightly expensive in some of the cases, but this corrected market is giving opportunity to buy them fresh with the price having come down in some of the cases at least. So we like, I think, this proposition in mid-tier IT companies.
907, the Nifty is almost settled. We are looking at a 40-point uptick on weekly expiry day. The Nifty Bank now trying for a 200-point uptick. In the green are NSE 500, which is a very big relief, and it's a decent uptick. And of course, the IT index is also drawing up in the green. Let's take Devan Bhai's view on the pharma space. Lots of old favorites, Devan Bhai, coming back. We used to talk about record highs on Sun Pharma about a decade back. Divi's is in top shape after its exit on the Nifty. We have a nice green uptick on Cipla, and an erstwhile favorite, Lupin, is now at a fresh record peak. What is the research team of DR Choksi coming out in terms of quality pharma picks?
So we are very clear, Shail, that some of the large companies like you mentioned, Sun Pharma, Cipla, Dr. Reddy's, Lupin, they have shifted the focus in last 2 years to specialty generics, and they have been successful by way of launching the new products in this particular area. Where on one side the competition is less, and on the other side I think you have got higher margin to talk about. They have been getting the pricing power because of this proposition of producing the complex generic specialty generic pharma products and launching into the markets like US and others. So we remain positive in this particular on these companies, and we believe that I think they have the potential to offer 15 to 20% kind of an upside in the stock price from current levels. So that's where I think one could look at those companies. More importantly, the trend which is happening on the cost side. Up till now, I think the challenge was also to beat the cost, I think, on the input side. Today, I think that situation is slightly working in favor of these companies because the stable commodity prices, particularly chemicals, specialty chemicals, which also goes into some of the pharma companies, there the advantage is coming in their favor. The companies like Divi's and Lawless, I think which are either in the CDMO and API space, they look also relatively stable because of this proposition that the input cost is stable and the customer is lifting the material from the new capacity that they have created. So we believe that I think these two companies also remain relatively more favorably placed. Maybe 15 to 20% appreciation in the stock prices in these companies is possible in next 12, 15 months time.
Okay, got that. Um, apart from this, of course, the new age tech space will again be in focus in this new year. There will be newer companies that will also come out with their IPOs as is being expected as well. And of course, we've been talking about how quick commerce is further going to gain ground. Last time I remember you discussed a lot about Avenue Supermarts as well on our channel. Do tell us, sir, how are you really looking at this entire space buzzing? Zomato, Swiggy, how are they going to be charting their course going forward from here? What should one really look at in the new age tech space? We've already seen outperformance coming in on Paytm and PB FinTech. How are you navigating through these opportunities there?
So I think these companies have definitely good business model. Consumer tech is something which we always like, and we believe that's the way forward for most of the service providers. So certainly the likes of Zomato, Swiggy, with their e-commerce, along with the food delivery and the hyper model which they have got, which means I think supplying on a bulk basis on B2B side. I believe that I think these both companies have relatively better picture to offer going forward as well. Swiggy definitely wants to come out of losses and make it to get into the profits. Zomato is already into profits, but both these companies put together today, I think would be putting at above 4 lakh crore worth of market capitalization, and with less profit or minimal profit that we are talking about. That's an area where I think one is not at all comfortable. You have a strong proposition in consumer tech, you have a strong proposition in form of having the customers buying on your platform, but everything is in price. If the price is expensive, probably I think that opportunity is not with investor. I would rather be happy to be a consumer to these companies than to be an investor at this point of time.
9:12. We have 3 minutes lapsed as far as markets today are concerned. Let's just look at the PSU basket in terms of gains. Actually, it's heartening to see 9 out of 10 index heavyweights in the green. Can't remember last time I saw that. Let's look at the PSU basket. Let's see how they're opening up in terms of gainers. Okay, banks are there. Of course, you have a smattering of railway companies. Bank of India is up 1.6% in pre-open. From the defense space, Madhani is making its presence felt, 1.5% higher, almost 348. Remember Mazgaon and Cochin shipyard. There is news that icebreakers for a friendly country will be made. 4 icebreakers. The size is expected to be 4,000 crores. These are unconfirmed reports. Let the press release come, but keep an eye out on that. Also, let's look at what's coming from the auto ancillary space. This should be good. Yes, Bharat Gears 2% higher, 101. Omax Auto 1% higher. Anything else that I'd like to mark? Yes, Adani. Ambuja Cement 1% higher. Adani Power 0.5% higher. Devan bhai, before we let you go, what is your view on this $2 billion sale of holding by the Adani Group in Adani Wilmar? How do you see this as a long-term development of the overseas Wilmar Group now controlling a majority share in Adani Wilmar?
I think, in my viewpoint, I think this is a decision which I think they had to take, which they have taken now. Fortunately, they have received, I think, a handsome part of the consideration out of it, $2 billion. Their main business is focused on the infrastructure and infrastructure-related activities, be it in the power generation, power distribution, or for that matter, the areas like roads, airports, logistics, even seaports. I believe that I think that's a key focus area. And fortunately, they are already stable now in most of the infrastructure assets. They are already, I think, receiving significantly large amount of daily cash flow, which is unlike the proposition in any other business. I think once you have invested heavy, you are now receiving daily cash flows in these infrastructure companies. So they are relatively better off, I think, putting money where they understand the business, where they can have large part of the cash flow. And in my view, what I think the large players like insurance companies, pension funds, sovereign funds, they definitely like 25, 40 years kind of an horizon in some of the infrastructure assets which this company is offering. So makes sense that I think they're rationalizing their portfolio and putting that particular money into the development of the other infrastructure assets where they generate significantly large amount of opportunity for investment.
Okay.
Point. The markets are upon us. It's a green tick. Nifty 35 points higher. Bit of gains on bank and the Nifty IT index as well. Remember, we have the weekly expiry of the bank Nifty today. Let's look at what's happening. First, the positives. Reliance a rupee higher, 1222.65. What is ITC doing? Yes, a rupee 15 higher, 485. How about lever? 6 rupees higher at 23.27. Okay. Now let's look at the green ticks further. Apart from HDFC Bank and L&T and Axis Bank, all 7 are in the green. A mild downtick on HDFC Bank, almost 9 rupees lower at 1774. The rest of the 10 index heavyweights are in the green, ladies and gentlemen. This is a positive development. Let's hope beyond 24,800, 23,800 is what the Nifty breathes higher in the day. Let's hope for some good short covering to come in. Okay, NSC 500, Railtel 3.5% higher, 418. Tanla Solutions, it was the top traded counter yesterday. Strong moves, strong delivery yesterday. Follow up today, 2.4% higher at 768. ITI 1.3% higher. What else is moving? Go Digit, this was also top traded, 1.6% higher, 333. These are the moves that are coming in. Let's look at the most active counters. Tata Motors, this is something to look at, 1% higher, 756. Again, base building exercise happening here. Keep an eye out on M&M, 0.5% higher. So auto is sticking well. You have also gains coming in on BSE, and of course Mazgaon 0.5% higher, 22.55. A muted start, but in the green and doing pretty well. Kush Godasara is with us. Good morning to you, Kush. Anything that you'd like to do in the first minute of trade?
Good morning. Definitely, I'm just waiting for 23,900 on the upside. I mean, that has been acting as a strong resistance, and now 200-day EMA is 23,920. So once we take out 23,900, maybe we can go long. If we take out 23,700 on the downside, maybe short. So I'm just not playing this 200-point game today, waiting for either side breakout.
Got that. Let's look at the markets again. All the sectors barring consumer durables and realty up into the green, led by auto, which is up 0.5%. Private banks are doing well, led by Kotak Mahindra Bank. Remember, there were higher targets from Citi coming in on this one of 2070, and therefore you can see an over 2% uptick on Kotak Mahindra Bank. Financial services, oil and gas, FMCG, PSU banks, they're all up and about in trade. In the broader markets, are there any interesting names that we can mention today for all our viewers right there? Lipsa Gems is doing well. We have Goa Carbon that's ticking higher. Then very few names. CSB Bank is an interesting one. Remember, it came out with an update on its Q3 business updates, and therefore you can see a 5% uptick on this one. Precision Camshafts from the auto ancillary is up by about 5 odd percent. Axis Skates Technologies is another one that's up by 5 odd percent. Then you have, I think, the gems in the jewelry space about, Moti Sons Jewelers is also up. So some of these smaller ones are actually taking higher in the gems and the jewelry space. Some of the smaller hotels are also continuing to move up, like an Asian Hotels or so, right there. So that's how the broader markets are shaping up. And let's get back to Kush. Kush, coming to you, your top two stock ideas, what would they be for today?
Maybe we can watch out for TVS Motors. If TVS Motor breach about 24.35 on the future levels, we may go long with the stop loss of 24.10. On the upside, 2500 can be expected in a day or two. Second stock, maybe which is on my watch list, is from mid cap sector, Zomato. I think Zomato could also do good. It has been consolidating quite well since 3 days. So if we reach about 280, definitely buy Zomato, target 296, stop loss 275. So both have a conditional call, but on the upside.
Okay.
That's how it is, ladies and gentlemen. 9:20. Let's just take a detour into the market. So far, I don't see any outstanding moves. EPAC, this is an EMS space that we are tracking, is now 3.4% higher, 3.7% higher, 60275. Needless to say, this is a record high. Tanla, 3.5% higher. Unimec, this was day before yesterday's listing in the IPO, no let up. You have now 4% higher, 1507. There is a strong move coming in on 63 moons, 4% higher. Anything that I'd like to add from the record highs that we are seeing or top gainers? CSB Bank, this is something to look at, 6% higher. They came up with a very good business update for the third quarter yesterday post market hours, 333, 6% higher. In the same breath, let us look at South Indian Bank. Okay, 2525. This is about 1.6% higher. It also came up with a good data point. Keep an eye out on Coffee Day. Two important developments have happened. Coffee exports in India, from India, have gone beyond the $1 billion mark for the first time, and global coffee prices in the commodity space are also up. So look at coffee commodity companies, and for the moment, Cafe Coffee Day is doing pretty well. Sakshi, we always talk about Indotech Transformers, another 5% up. So this is how markets have opened. Nifty now 26 points higher, 23,769. Kush, what have you observed? Anything that catches your fancy?
Definitely, Bajaj Finance is going great, around 2% up on the trade. If we see some correction, maybe that can be also a good trade for BTST. On the other side, pharma sector is in some pressure. If you look at Torrent Power is in pressure, even PSU Bank, SBI Bank is in pressure. So there is a mixed bag. So stock specific, maybe we are getting some trades, but index specific, we need to wait for some breakout. So few pockets are strong while few pockets are lethargic. So I'm just waiting for Nifty to give a good breakout.
Okay, got that. What else is ticking higher in the broader markets is Unimec Aerospace, the recently listed stock, another 4.7% higher in trade. So that's also buzzing. We can keep an eye out on this newly listed space as well. Let me actually come to Kush on the few pockets that are now, actually turning weaker. IT has slipped. Kush, Wipro, of course, we do know is slipping because there has been a negative brokerage house report. How are you really looking at the entire IT space now? Does it give you any conviction to buy at these dips?
Definitely, I won't buy IT stocks at current levels. Maybe as an index, if you look at IT index, 43,650 is a strong resistance. We have seen a crossover of 10 days, average over 15 day on the downside. So it is looking weak. So if yesterday's low on the index 250, 43,250 is breached, we may see a free fall. So on IT stocks, I'm not buying it, but I'm waiting for it to break down. So I will sell.
Okay, got that.
A bit of a red on the IT index, the sell off. It's not exactly a sell off, it's the readjustment that's happening on the weekly expiry day. Please also keep an eye out on India VIX, now at 14.68, up 0.17. Let's look at the India VIX in terms of percentage. For the moment, there is a 1.2% uptick on India VIX. What is in top shape? No stopping policy bazaar. Kush will just comment on it. There is action happening on Aurobindo Pharma. Let's look at these two very strong high beta counters, policy bazaar and you have Aurobindo Pharma. Kush, what are the charts telling you?
Policy was definitely there is a breakout of a flag pattern type of pattern. So technically, it's a good buy. 2100 can be a strict stop loss. So around 1% is a strict stop loss for a short-term trade. On the upside, first target would be previous high 2200, above which we may see 2240. So definitely a risk buy, but with strict stop loss, one can take a risk because 15-day average around 2100 is a good support. On the other hand, Aurobindo, definitely, pharma sector was looking good, but I believe Aurobindo has rallied a lot in last 3 days. So not maybe a fresh long. If you have an existing long carry forward, can hold with strict trailing stop loss at 1320.
Okay, markets are volatile now. More and more sectors are slipping into the red. Apart from realty, which is down 0.5%, you have consumer durables, pharma, FMCG, PSU, banks that have all slipped. Metals are down in trade now, along with IT also. And you have even the broader markets that slipped. Remember, yesterday they were outperforming the benchmark indices, but they have slipped in trade. Kush, what is your approach in the mid and small caps? Are you going absolutely stock selective in this?
Yes, definitely. Absolutely stock selective because if you look at a mid-cap index, it had opened up positive, but it's in pressure since the morning. And so maybe I won't go aggressively long, but yes, stock specific like Policy Bazaar, Zomato, Swiggy, they are looking good. So new age IT companies are looking pretty much good on the long side. So I will take a trade there.
9:26, ladies and gentlemen. Let's revisit the market on the PSU side. Remember, this is a thematic structure which normally runs up ahead of the budget, which is now just a couple of weeks away. A strong move coming into Kudremukh ore company, 3% higher, 422.5. ITDC 2.3% higher, almost 642 for you. Moves coming into Oil India, and how about Midhani? A view from you, Kush, on Midhani. What are the charts telling you? 1.1% higher at almost 347 for you.
Definitely, after a long time, it has came out of a downside channel. I mean, it was in the pressure since 386 level in the mid-December. Today is the second day. Maybe we have seen some positive momentum, but volumes are very much low. So maybe we'll wait for a day or two. Closing above 350 is crucial because last week also we have resisted around 350 for a couple of times. So 350, if we break above 350, we'll aggressively go long for the target of 400, which is 200-day average.
Okay, got that. Kush, I also wanted to just get a sense on what is your approach going to be on the auto space. You did say that some of the stocks you're liking there have been mixed bag sales reports from most of them. Talk to us about how would you approach the leading four-wheeler companies like a Maruti, M&M, Tata Motors right now?
Definitely, four-wheeler segment, passenger vehicle segment is some pressure. So maybe I think I won't go long on the counters. Definitely, Tata Motors is looking good, but uh, I think still there is some pressure on the sales side. So if we want to buy, we can buy in two-wheeler segment where we are already seeing a good profit booking. So don't buy four-wheelers at current levels. Maybe if you want to take a trade, two-wheelers are looking good.
9:28, almost 10 minutes to the market. Now let's look at anything that we can fight in the volume buzzer space. Tanda Solutions, let's just check this one. Yesterday's top traded counter and a very strong uptick today as well. This is again a very, very strong uptick here. Kush, you want to comment on Tanla platforms? This is the second day running, and let's look at the weekly chart also. Oh yes, the all-time high was 2100 rupees, now at 782. Very strong volumes yesterday. In fact, yesterday's top traded counter was Tanla. What are the charts telling you?
Definitely, yesterday, after yesterday's move with heavy volumes, we have seen multiple breakouts on indicator side as well as price breakouts. Double bottom breakout around 750. So with the stop loss of 755, one can go long. First target would be 870 on positional basis.
Okay, so that's as far as Tanla platforms is concerned. The other pocket letter, okay, so IT is now swiftly turning positive, 0.3% higher. Let us look at what are the winners here. Very, very volatile trade in the IT pack. It was slipping away. Now you have Infosys inching up, almost a percent higher. HCL Tech, Emphasis, Coforge, TCS and L&T Tech. These are the ones that are now improving in trade. Let's see how it goes from here. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Apart from this, private banks, Kotak Mahindra Bank, should one chase this momentum? Brokerage houses are giving positive targets of over 2,000. What would you do here, Kush, Kotak Mahindra Bank?
Definitely, I won't trade or in Kotak Mahindra Bank because since quite some years it has been pretty much range bound. On such news day, it moves again, then it settles down, and so better not to trade. As an investor, maybe if you're holding it, you can hold on, but no fresh trades on Kotak Bank either for short term or long term.
Got that.
Bajaj Finance in top shape. You have 7109, and yesterday's bounce was from 200-day DMA, so that's a positive on the daily charts. Let's also look at some good action happening on the volume buzzers side. Okay, we have oh, that's very interesting. Look at Samman Capital, 4% higher, almost 60% of 5-day average is traded. That's interesting. Chalet Hotels, 1.4% higher, 1,028. There's Anant Raj Industries. This is a Delhi-based realtor, 3.6% higher, 887. Strong volumes there. These are the threads that are coming in the first 10-15 minutes of trade. Record highs, Anant Raj, 888, Lloyds Metals, 1277, United Spirits, wonderful, Muthoot Finance, 2228, and of course Lemon Tree. So you have one realtor, one metal company, one liquor company, one gold finance company, and one hotel stock that have hit a fresh record in Thursday's trade. Anant Raj is really moving up. I think this is something that we should be checking with Kush, 4% higher. What are the charts telling you here, Kush, on Anant Raj?
Definitely, the charts are pretty much good. It has been a dream run since the low in the month of November. But at current levels, one should start booking some short-term profit because indicators are in the overbought zone since quite some time. So we may see profit booking anytime soon. So keep book 50% profit if you are already gone long, and keep trailing SL at 850 for the rest of the quantity.
Okay, got that. I think, Shail, you were mentioning United Spirits. I think all the liquor stocks are in thick trade. Now you have some distilleries that's up almost 6 odd percent in trade as well. There are others also that are slightly up, like a Sula Vineyards or maybe Redico Khaitan as well. Let's discuss this space with you. Kush, have you been studying the recent moves on this one? And anything that looks attractive to you on the charts?
Not Definitely, this segment seems very much interesting to me. Uh, I think Piccadilly is one of the BSE listed stock, which is
Yes.
doing bottling for Indri. So I think Piccadilly is a good stock to buy. I mean, the way Indri brand is spreading and catching up after, winning the award. I think rather than going with traditional UBL or stocks, I would go with Piccadilly as an investment for short term. 940 can be a stop loss. Target on the upside within 3 months can be around 1300.
Okay. All right. Let's look at some of the other pockets then. What else is buzzing? Since we were talking about consumption space, have you been looking at the broader space as well? Kush, anything in the FMCG basket that looks good to you now? This has been a rather underperformer of the past. Do you finally see in 2025 some of the names within this pocket, if not the entire space, could be in thick trade in 2025 from the FMCG basket? Stocks like ITC, for instance, HUL, for instance, are you looking at those?
Definitely, I'm looking at Tata Consumer. I think it has also corrected uh, in a great way from 1300 to almost 900. So maybe 100 points more on downside. But I will start buying Tata Consumer for at least 1 or 2 years investment horizon. 845 can be the stop loss. Target can be around 1150. I think Tata Consumer can give a U-turn in 2025.
9:35, ladies and gentlemen. It's sort of spreading pretty well. Let's look at the advanced decline ratios today and find out what the broader markets are thinking. There is a 42-point uptick on the Nifty on its weekly expiry day. Sakshi, the IT index has reversed for the better, 300 points higher. So far, 1550 shares are in the green versus 700 that are in the red. So it's an easy 2:1 favoring the bulls. The IT index is the top loser, top gainer. All 10 IT index stocks are in the green. Now we track 19 indices for you. Out of 19, you have 14 that are in the green. There is just a bit of profit booking on Nifty, PSU Bank and the energy index, but it's going strong for the market, and you have all sorts of PSU stocks now firming up. Let me just take some names for everyone's benefit. Okay, we have ITDC now 4.2% higher, ITI 4.2% higher, 459, almost 460. National Fertilizers, FACT and RCF plus GMDC from the fertilizer space are in the green. What else is happening? I'd also like to mark GIC Housing Finance 1.2% higher. So all put together, there is a very nice shade of green that is now developing on the PSU packet, and these are again high beta, low ticket items. So they've started to buzz and buzz very rapidly. Kush, any favorite that you would have from the PSU pack which is doing well?
Maybe my eyes are on REC Limited and PFC. I mean, they are on the verge of a breakout. So REC is on my radar. I will buy REC above 510 for the target of 526. So definitely REC is my pick as of now.
Okay, let's look at some of the other pockets then. What else is buzzing in trade? Amidst the Nifty next 50 names, we have HAL now buzzing from the defense space. It's up by over 1% now. Cochin is also up by over 1%. That's buzzing as well. Many other stocks are also now pulling up in trade. Let's look at the defense pack. Kush, what would you chase up until the budget from the defense pack?
From the defense pack, maybe HAL is looking good. So HAL is a stock where we can chase for a budget move, but wait for a breakout above 4300. So buy HAL above 4300 before budget. We may see around 4700 by budget.
Okay. Right. So that's as far as the defense pack is concerned. What about railways? Does that also interest you? We have been seeing a strong move across the board, maybe IRFC, IRCTC, RVNL. We've also been looking at RailTel, for instance, today. That's been also on the buzz. Jupiter wagons or the entire wagon making space, that's also in thick shape. What looks good here?
Maybe on railway stocks, maybe I'm just waiting for some time. I think still we have, not find some momentum. Definitely, IRFC, and they have moved a bit, then they were settling down. So I'm just waiting for a day or two still to find momentum. Maybe IRCT is a stock where we have not seen so much rally. So that can be picked out. So, but still waiting for some momentum to, railway stocks.
Right.
9:40, ladies and gentlemen. What we'll do is we'll now dip into some other indices. The Nifty Sakshi is now above 23,800, and frankly, it's looking good. Let's look at the let's look at the NSE 100 index. Okay. I can't remember the last time we talked about Sundaram Finance. This is the top performer there. One of the finest balance sheets in the country. I've been watching it for 30 years, and it's a multi-bagger stock by huge dimensions. 2.9% higher, 4,205. You have a strong move coming into Phoenix Mills. This is a Mumbai-based realtor which has a lot of shopping malls at the top end. 1.1% higher. This is a post-split 1606 for you. Cochin Shipyard in the green, NMDC in the green, and we have Aditya Birla Capital 181 for you. This is 0.66% higher. Let's look at the volume buzzers in the mid cap space. Wow. Petronet LNG, for some reason it's down 5.7% on very heavy volumes. 328 for you. This is also a FNO stock. We'll just look at the build up here. But Kush, what are the charts of Petronet LNG telling you? There is a 5% downtick on them.
Oh, definitely. It is exactly a 200 average. As we talk, 328 is a 200 average. So maybe it may take some support over here. Even, previously around November, it took support around the same average. So maybe if you have, taken a short call, just book profits. And if we sustain about 328 for some time, maybe a sharp intraday short covering can be expected.
Okay, got that. Well, even the broader markets have now turned positive. Like I said, Railtel is pulling up higher from the railway space, 6.5% up. Tanla Platforms was marked by Shell, that's up. Swan Energy, Credit Access, Grameen, you have BEML, First Source Solutions, Go Digit, Mahanagar Gas. All of these stocks are actually buzzing in trade in the small cap basket. Okay, so Go Digit again is on the move. Let's ask Kush, have you been tracking Go Digit as well? From the insurance basket, we usually talk about HDFC and SBI Life, LIC. We talk about ICICI Pru, but rarely about Go Digit. What is the trend suggesting to you here?
Definitely, Go Digit is a good stock for a long-term investment. Prefer, Policy Bazaar over Go Digit, just because, volumes are not picking up after listing, and it has been range bound. So rather, as of current levels, I would prefer Policy Bazaar.
Let's look at the FNO space. Top performer today is Cholamandalam Finance, 1230, 3.2% higher in the future space. This is accompanied by a 0.6% rise in open interest as well. Surprisingly, in the futures market, amongst the top traded futures today is Bajaj Finance, and therefore it merits a view. 7,200 almost on futures, up 3%. Kush, would you just look at the charts? We have Kotak Bank also as far as top traded futures are concerned on the second spot. And surprise, Tata Motors is actually above Bank Nifty futures in terms of volume. So take your pick, Kush. What would you go with first, Bajaj Finance or Tata Motors?
Bajaj Finance, maybe not fresh longs, but will hold existing because we have seen a good move already, so a bit risky. Tata Motors is in pressure since the opening price, so sitting on the sidelines. Maybe Bank Nifty is what I'm watching out. Anything above 50 to 51 200 on spot levels, I will go index long.
Okay, got that. Let's take the next question from the Kush about one of the other interesting spaces, and that is the fertilizer pack as well. Kush, we've been discussing themes pre-budget like defense and railways. How would you look at the fertilizer space? They are in focus again in trade today. And, what would you say? Any key stock ideas that you'd like to focus on? Again, on this, the center has also extended additional subsidy on diammonium phosphate beyond December. So that's also another trigger for all of these stocks.
Maybe I would go long on Fact Limited. I think 981 is a good support. It is showing good signs of reversal. So Fact Limited is a buy with a stop loss of 960 on the upside. I believe 1100 can be expected.
Okay.
9:45, the first half an hour of trade is lapsed, and the theme dichotomy that I had pointed out is right there in front of you. The Nifty is now 83 points higher on its weekly expiry day, and it refuses to bow down to selling pressure that is coming in both on the futures side and on the cash side by FIIs. Remember, 2nd January is when the full force of FII action will be visible. The last 3 or 4 sessions have been very, very weak in terms of volume. Let us see how the index fares today, and of course we'll be keeping an eye out on individual stocks as well. You have a strong move coming in on Swan Energy from the defense space, 4% higher, 748. Let's revisit the entire top traded space. Avanti Feeds, 5.2% higher, 705. You have Samman Capital, 160, 4.5% higher. Remember, these are beaten down counters. From the IPO space, Vishal Mega Mart makes its presence felt, 3.6% higher, 109.75. You have Arcade Developers, 3.7% higher, 184. So this is how changes are happening in the markets for the better. In the green is Tata Technologies, 903, 2.5% higher. So it's looking good, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how it goes beyond the first half an hour. But so far so good, and it's fairly heartening to note how traders are now positioning themselves, especially in the PSU pack. Kush, what have you watched?
From PSU Bank, SBI is looking weak. So maybe, you can create a spread, go long on private sector bank and short on SBI. That's what I think, because SBI is not gaining momentum in any minute. Every minute it is showing some pressure since the opening. So with the stop loss of 802, maybe SBI future can be taken as a spread trade.
Okay, got that. So that's the view that's coming in on the PSU banking story. Have you been also noticing what's happening in the oil and gas space? Yet again, this used to be in thick shape in the middle of 2024, but then it consolidated for quite a bit. How are you looking at this space afresh? Do you think upstream companies or maybe downstream, they are attracting you at these current levels again?
Definitely, I think MGL is looking good from a gas sector. I think it is on verge of breaking out from ascending triangle. So anything above 1300 is a trigger for 1600 for a medium term. So definitely MGL is looking good from oil and gas sector.
Got that. So that's as far as the oil and gas space is concerned. What else can we look at in trade? Again, in the broader markets, let's look at any more new names. Now, even in the gems and jewelry space, it's TBZ that's buzzing 5% higher. Tribhuvan Das, Bhimji Zaveri. We were talking about Lipsa and Moti Sons earlier. Gems and jewelry space, again garnering some traction, Kush. Would you look at it?
Definitely, TBZ is with heavy volumes, so there we can keep an eye on. Any dip to around 247 in intraday is a good buy. Stop loss is around 242. First target is 254, above which we may see 260. So TBZ can be played for momentum, but wait for correction to 247 intraday to go long.
That's how it is. 9:50 now. Let's look at if there is a change in any of the new highs that we've been tracking so far. No, we have the same list. No new additions. Welspun Corp. This is a maker of oil and gas pipes. There are some very interesting developments happening in the Middle East with the Syria issue getting sorted, and you see a lot of pipe making companies doing pretty well. There is a planned pipeline between two Middle Eastern states to pump in gas. Look at Maharashtra Seamless, look at Jindal Saw, and look at how Welspun Corp has shaped up. These are interesting themes and stocks to look at this point of time. So far, so good. It's the IT space that is now buzzing with gains. Infosys futures up 1.5%, 1924. There is Tech Mahindra up 0.8%, 1723. And of course, there is no let up in TCS also, 1441. Let's look at the contributory stocks to Nifty's 75-point uptick. I'm sure Infosys at its top, and so will ITC be. Okay, Infosys is contributing 32 points in the green, Bajaj Finance 15 points, Kotak 10 points, TCS 7 points, and M&M 4 points. What's pulling the Nifty down? Nothing to be worried about at all. Sun Pharma down, pulling down the Nifty by 5 points. HDFC Bank pulling it down by 2 points. So on weekly expiry day, ladies and gentlemen, it's looking good and it's looking better. 9:51. Sakshi, what are you watching?
For a percent, whole host of moves that are coming in across the board now. Infosys, of course, leading it now nearly 2% higher. Coforge, Emphasis have both pulled up over a percent. So has HCL Technologies, LTI, Mindtree, L&T Technology Services, Tech Mahindra Persistent also now about 0.7% higher in trade. Getting back to Kush on the IT pack, which is the stock that looks promising to you from this space? Where would you continue to put in fresh funds?
Maybe Naukri Info Edge, I think, mid-cap IT stock,
Okay.
it is looking good. So 8700 can be a stop loss, and we can go long at current levels. Target on the upside can be around 9200.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the IT pack is concerned. A lot of some of the interesting names within the broader markets. Okay, let's get you to talk about one more space cushion, that is the telecom ancillary space. Tejas Networks is up by 1.3%. We also have Aksh Optic Fiber that's pulling up as well. Especially in the, let's go beyond the frontline telecom space and the auto ancillary space right there. Anything that looks promising to you?
Maybe purely for momentum play, not holding on for a long time. Can be played out. Stop loss 1220. On the upside, 14 rupees can be expected. So only purely for momentum play, someone can take a risk in Aksh Opti Fiber.
Okay, got that. Um, We have F&O players like APL Apollo Tubes now doing very well, 3.8% higher. Cholamandalam was marked by Shell earlier. Bajaj Finance also, these are in fine shape in the F&O packet as well. When we look at the oil and gas space, it's Oil India and ONGC both in the front line. Railway story is strengthening. You can see IRFC now up 1.4% within the PSU pack. That's as far as how some of the stocks are actually buzzing in trade. Let us look at some Nifty next 50 names to see if there are any. Yeah, so power finance companies are again coming back, PFC and REC. Kush, anything here?
Yes, definitely, as we mentioned before, REC is looking good. So maybe I would take a risk on REC for a pre-budget rally.
Okay.
954. A bit of a profit booking now happening on the Nifty. 23,850 is where call writers got active and pushed the index a bit lower. Let me mark all-time highs for you in the broader markets. Okay, Shakti Pump 4.2% higher, 1168. You have okay, these are the ones that I'd like to just mark on air. Unimec, third day of gains, very strong volumes, 2233 crores for us. Let's look at Rico Auto, 12% higher, 93.22. Let's look at Indo Wind, 10% higher, 26.8. Avanti Feeds, 5.8% higher, 710. I'm purposely marking stocks which are showing smart gains and are accompanied by very, very high volumes. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out what is this particular stock. One moment, please. This is something that needs to be marked. It's transformers and rectifiers. This is now dramatically up, 5% higher at 1253. The country is facing an acute shortage of transformers of all kinds because of this push towards electrification and of course from the renewable space. So third straight day of 5% circuits on transformers and rectifiers. 957 for us. Sakshi, what are you watching?
Shell, it's again the IT, financial services, private banks that are actually buzzing in trade, but metals have slipped now. So have the consumer durables, PSU banks, pharma, realty. These are the pockets that have again turned very volatile, and you know it's a volatile market. Even though the Nifty is up by about 23,850 and thereabouts is how the Nifty is trading at, but it's like the IT and the banks that are clearly the key contributors to the Nifty move today, along with NBFCs and strong moves being seen on Bajaj Finance and Bajaj Finserv as well now. So those are the clear pockets that are in the winning zone. Apart from this, let's again look at the broader markets. To see if there are any other newer names that are coming in onto the higher zone. Rico Auto is buzzing higher in trade. Auto ancillaries, some of them are looking interesting. Sterling Tools is also buzzing in trade. Anything within the auto ancillary pack that you are looking at, Kush?
Maybe GNA Excel is looking good
Okay.
to valuations also. We have seen a good profit booking, just going about 200 average. So maybe GNA Excel is a stock where we may take a risk with a stop loss of 400 for investment. 450 is the first target, above which 490 in 2025. So at a good level, GNA Excel is available. So maybe I would take a risk at that.
Got that. Well, okay, Kush, we will now thank you on that. No, it's 9:57 now and 3 minutes to go. We'll wind up the morning edition for the markets. It started off pretty strongly when we talk about the markets again carrying on from the positive trade of yesterday. Let's hope that this builds on in the second half of trade. IT names definitely in thick zone. Financial services led by Bajaj Finance are up and about. Private banks led by Kotak Mahindra Bank is also improving in trade. Auto stocks in fine shape, and you have oil and gas infra stocks and FMCG stocks that are buzzing. In the PSU space, there is some movement in the defense and the railway pack that we can continue to look at. Top movers on the Nifty are Bajaj Twins, Bajaj Finserv and Finance, Oil and Natural Gas, that's ONGC, Infosys, Kotak Mahindra Bank, Shriram Finance and Grasim among the top movers. Sun Pharma, Britannia, NTPC, Adani Enterprises and Tata Consumer Products are just about minor losses on the Nifty, but the top losers right there as of now. F&O movers, you have APL Apollo Tubes, that's up by 3.8%. Chola Mandalam, that's up by 3.8% as well. Oil India, Bajaj Finance, PB Fintech, that even Kush marked out as a positive, is something that's buzzing in the F&O pack. But what's not doing well is clearly Petronet LNG after that brokerage report, Tata Elxsi, 197 Communication, MRF and Oberoi Realty as some of the stocks that are declining in trade. Anything else, Shell, that you'd like to point out before we wind up?
Sakshi, I think there is momentum coming back in the auto space, starting with Bajaj Auto, and the fact that we've had enough and more of sales that have happened on the auto space. Look at the way how Tata Motors is shaping up after consistent selling over the last so many months, and the fact that look at Ashok Leyland, 2% higher, 228. TVS Motors, Maruti. These are stocks that have been beaten black and blue, and of course they are showing signs of recovery. And the PSU banking space, that is looking good to me. And with that, we'll wrap up the show here. But news continues on Business Today Television. Please stay glued.
All right, viewers, thank you so much for tuning in onto the morning edition of Market Today. But stay tuned, there's a lot more for you to look at throughout the course of the day. We will also get top market masters like Samir Arora on the channel today to discuss what should your strategy be on 2025 investments.
भारत 10 साल में दुनिया की 10वीं से 5वीं बड़ी इकोनॉमी बन गया।
It was a year when India maintained its status as the world's fastest growing major economy. With forex reserves at a healthy $650 billion, GST collections reaching new highs, and major stock indices up more than 8% on year. It was a year when India lost Ratan Tata, its biggest business Ratna. It was also a year when the country witnessed its grandest ever wedding and saw continued allegations and attacks against the Adani Group. 2024 also saw the re-election of Narendra Modi as Prime Minister for the third time. Saw political parties throw fiscal caution